The sharing economy. When you think about the sharing economy, you think about Lyft, Uber, and Airbnb. And we're going to be talking about Airbnb today and probably a little bit about VRBO and the difference between those two. We actually have the queen of Airbnb here in North Dakota. Jill Schwab is in studio. And, of course, we have Rockin Dave Blair here and producer extraordinaire Jim Walsh. And he's giving me the, who, me? You can pull the mic over, Jim. Pull the mic over your way just for a second here. Yeah, we always got to have our little banter that goes
microphone.
On. That's right. Were you a little warm this weekend?
I was very warm this weekend. Had the AC going, sat as close as possible to the AC, and ate a lot of ice cream.
Interesting.
Which I'm not supposed to do.
But it was
for
cool,
the one weekend,
right?
it was a good thing to do.
Yep. I was at drone camp.
Yeah, tell me about that.
And it was about 100 kids. Yeah, it was
Wonderful.
It was great. Yeah,
where was it?
It was in Tioga, North Dakota.
Okay,
and at an airport in a hangar. Of course, they don't have air conditioning. So Saturday was warm. It was 8 hours on Saturday.
Yeah,
and but it wasn't bad. There was a little bit of a breeze. They opened up the doors a little bit, and you could feel the breeze through the hangar. Yesterday, the wind changed directions from the south, and that breeze was coming over the runway, and it was like a blast furnace. It was really, really warm. So we cut it back a little bit because and of course it got a little warmer yesterday than the day before too. So,
would that interfere with the ability to fly the devices?
No, they had a pretty good time flying it. In fact, what was nice about it when they were all flying at one time at the end, and I didn't mind it so much when they got a little close to me because it was like a fan, So.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was fun. They had about I don't know what the exact count was of how many drones they had in the air at one time, but it was like 80 some. So
and no collisions.
Well, they ran into each other. I mean, no collisions as far as the drones hitting each other.
Right, that's what I meant.
But yeah, but I was hit a couple times by drones. We all wear safety glasses, and these are the drones that have the prop guards on them, so that if they do bump into you, it's really not a big deal.
Yeah, knocking your hat off. And that
kind of thing. Yeah, it was kind of funny. One of them actually got their drone caught in the rafter of the hangar.
Oh dear,
that took a special type of flying to make that happen, but it was fun. The kids had a good time.
Good.
The program is now STEM approved, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
They had a big time award that was given to them for this program. So I was pretty impressed by that. And the program will continue to grow. I expect that this will be probably, we'll have many states that will start attending this program in the future now. So it's a very, very cool deal. So, our in-studio guest, Jill Schwab, as we were calling her the queen of Airbnb, at least in North Dakota. So how you doing today, Jill?
I'm good. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is going to be fun to talk about. You have really taken an Airbnb and made it something really special in Bismarck, North Dakota. So we really want to get into that a little bit. But first, I think we should talk a little bit about the difference between Airbnb and probably its biggest competitor, which is VRBO. So are you familiar with the difference between the two?
VRBO is more of a vacation-based, cabin-based destination rental, whereas Airbnb is more of the home experience.
Okay. So, and when you were thinking about which one to go with, why did you choose Airbnb?
I think just the demographic piece of it. The beach, seaside aspect and the climate aspect was more conducive to an Airbnb. When I did some market research, I realized that Bismarck already at that time when I was researching had 39 properties in Bismarck, so I knew it was a hot market.
Okay, very interesting. So you go through the process, and we should, there's probably some people that are listening to us right now that don't even know what Airbnb is. So why don't you explain what Airbnb is?
So Airbnb is a San Francisco-based company that operates an online marketplace and hospitality service for people to lease short-term rentals. Cottages, apartments, homestays, hotel rooms. There were 3 entrepreneurs that began the company back in 2007 in San Francisco. The concept came from a need for, there was a saturated market in hotels in San Francisco in 2007, and they decided to make a few extra bucks and brought out a air mattress from their closet. and they had a great response. So they just continued that momentum, and thus the name Airbnb was developed.
That's interesting. I didn't know that about the air mattress story. I know about their startup, and they struggled right away.
They did.
They had some challenges, and what's interesting is they decided to actually go out and start taking high-resolution photos of their properties, and that is actually the turning point for Airbnb. Mm-hmm. People wanted to know where they were staying.
Right.
And it was actually industry changing, I guess is the best way to say it, right? Because it wasn't, when they started to do that, the whole hotel industry picked up on that as well, and they started to understand that as well. So, I mean, nowadays, it just seems like it's almost unnatural when you're looking at a hotel property not to have a picture of the front of the hotel and the lobby and the rooms and everything else. In fact, that's probably the number one reason people stay at places now is when they look at those photos.
Correct.
And the other thing is important too is you book in hotels, and I'm sure with Airbnb is comments from people that have stayed
Absolutely.
there. You know, and that's really important too, to get some genuine feel that they stayed there.
Yep, and we'll get into that feedback piece in a little bit because I think it's really important to Jill. So, okay, so because I just kind of want to go through the process of how you become an Airbnb. So you decided Airbnb, and then what was like the next step for you then? Was there an approval process? How did that go?
Yes, so you sign up as a new host on the website. You provide your contact information, email, phone number. They want a little bit of a profile as to what type of property you have. They do have some security measures in place. You need to provide a government photo ID. And they would like to know that their hosts are, providing a quality experience. After, I believe it was 10 bookings and an 88% acceptance rate, you gain what they call superhost status.
Okay.
So they really focus on being a company that strives to provide an excellent hospitality experience, and they do monitor those things through their website. And if you fall below those criteria, you have to work your way back up into the process to gain that superhost status.
So are you penalized a little bit too then if you drop below that 88%?
I wouldn't say you're penalized, but they do have, targets that you want to reach, and they have reminders on how you can reach those targets and bring those acceptance rates back up.
If you're below a certain acceptance rate for a period of time, do they you're not part of Airbnb anymore, or how does that work?
You are. They give you the grace period to, like I said, bring that percentage back up. If it's consistently below, they may remove the listing.
I see. So it's important to Airbnb that they have quality.
Absolutely.
Very, very interesting. So in your case, you don't actually have a separate cottage or anything like that. It's actually part of your house, and you're building an experience for your guests, right?
Correct. Yes, I have two listings. I have a bed and bath upstairs that I rent in my home, and then I have a 1,000 square foot space in my basement that I rent out to guests, and that consists of a large living room, a bathroom, a gym area, an office, and then the main queen size bed.
All right. After the break, everybody, we'll continue our conversation with Jill and how she provides a superior experience while you stay there. So come on back.
Right now, 77.
Dave Ramsey is heard here. SuperTalk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek at Facebook.com/The Tech Ranch or Twitter at Guru of Geek or TheTechRanch.com. Here again is your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we want to thank everybody who follows us across the country and around the world on Blueberry, thetechpodcast.com if it's tech it's here. We're on Roku. Are you going to actually thank everybody individually, Jim?
Well, we played a really nasty trick on the geezer. We sent him out to personally thank everybody.
Oh, nice. So we should see him next week? No.
Maybe.
But, I forget where we're at. iTunes, and a bunch of other places, including our Radio Pup. That's right, Radio Pup, and of course our own place, SuperTalk 1270.
And soon to be Q1 Network.
Q1 Network, maybe. All kinds of places that you can catch the Tech Ranch live or in a rerun later. So
exactly.
We're talking a lot about Airbnb today, and we have the queen of Airbnb here in North Dakota, Jill Schwab, and
how do you like being called the queen?
I love it.
Do you? Okay. So you're kind of like the queen bee.
Yes, the queen bee. That's great.
She has created a remarkable experience for her Airbnb guests, and so let's just maybe talk a little bit about that. And I know you do this as a revenue enhancement piece. I mean, that's probably why most people do this, right? I would say that's the number one driver. You have real estate that maybe you're not using as often as you'd like. Maybe you have an extra room or two in your house. You have a whole basement that you're not using anymore because your kids have left or whatever it is, right?
Right.
So then you have this space, and now you can actually start making a couple dollars from it.
So my question to you would be is how do I get to know more about your house, what you're going to offer? So walk me through that whole process. Do you greet me and give me a lei and put it over my and welcome, Dave?
Wrong.
Okay.
State. That's probably Hawaii, though.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. So when my guests, the listings that I've created, again, I put the high quality photos online. I give them kind of a nice little snapshot of what my property offers. Each of the rooms, some patio shots, deck area shots, whether I have a barbecue grill in the backyard for them. When they see those listings and I put amenities, there are essential amenities that the website asks you to kind of check mark as far as, do you contain these things? Do you provide above and beyond? Do you provide work amenities for work travelers? And so you're in a self-guided process on the website where you can list all of the things that you offer and then any amenities above and beyond. So once a traveler sees that, they can put in their dates, they can put in the amenities that they require, they can then book through the site directly. They can see the price match that they need. If a traveler only wants to spend $30 a night, they can choose and limit those properties that are within their criteria, and it brings up the matching properties for them. And so once I receive a booking and I greet the guest, I try to provide a homey experience from the moment they get there. I have a waterfall at my front step. I have tons of flowers in my yard. I have, when they arrive, I greet them. I personally make it a point to greet them and welcome them and provide them with a bottle of water. And I have the chocolate kisses on their pillows when they go and get settled in their room. I make it a point. I also have a push pin map where I will ask them where they're from and kind of have a demographic picture of where my guests are coming from. And to date, I've gathered 15 states. This morning, I just checked out my 52nd guest in 5 months. And again, it's, you're meeting people from all over the world. I've had guests from Russia, Prussia. A couple weeks ago, I had a gentleman from China. And, people from all over the country are coming and staying at these. It's becoming a phenomenon almost when you ask people, how did you hear about Airbnb? And it might be through a colleague, it might be through the children that are coming here on a cross-country journey. And so I really try to sit down with my guests, find out where they're from, find out what they would like to do while they're in Bismarck, provide recommendations for restaurants, for coffee houses, maybe sightseeing, cultural tours. It just depends. Each guest you have to customize based on what their needs are and what they want to do in the community while they're here.
Now, you just started this, like you said, 5 months
I
ago?
started this in March. I kicked off March 1st.
Okay. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, to get that kind of response. So now, would I book through Airbnb, not directly with you?
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The website is www.airbnb.com.
Okay.
And so you just click what city you would like to stay in or research, and it will bring up all the available properties. When I went out and looked the other day, Bismarck, I believe, is currently at 51 properties. And when I started in March, they were at 39. So there's definitely demand, and it's definitely a growing industry.
And have you noticed that because there's more properties that you're getting booked less, or are you actually busier and busier?
I think I'm busier and busier. I'm consistently staying about 6 to 7 reservations out. and the demand is there, which has been great.
So typically these people that would rent this room for usually one night, or do you have extended stay and you give them a break for more than one night, or how does that work?
Each individual can choose whether they would like to do a one-night stay, an extended stay, or basically as a rental home. So anything past 30 days. You also, as a host, have the ability to do your own pricing schedule. Airbnb recommends what they call smart pricing, where it fluctuates with the market, it fluctuates with demand, and it fluctuates with activities that are in the community that week.
So is it like a checkbox that you just tick, and then it comes in and does this smart pricing for you, or do you have to? Okay.
Yes, you choose that option, and then it will recommend those pricing options every time that booking comes in. You know, they might say, you have a concert in town this weekend, you might want to raise your prices $10.
Gotcha.
Or you might want to provide a 15% discount if you're not booked this weekend in order to fill your listings.
Okay.
So everything goes through Airbnb.
Correct.
They take a percentage then of that rental, whether it's extended stay or evening? Correct? They pay you directly then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a very slick system.
Really, you don't have to worry about any of that.
No, it's a very slick system. They take the commission right off of the top of the host's fee, and they collect and remit the sales tax for the state of North Dakota for any residents that stay here.
That's what I was going to get to. Okay.
Yeah, they started an agreement with the tax department in North Dakota on April 1st of this year, and so they take care of all those taxes and lodging and city taxes for you up front and remit those to the state of North Dakota. So yeah, it's a very slick website. It's a very neat company to work with, and I feel like their customer service is great. You get a live person when you talk to the individuals. They have what they call a community center, where you can go on. They will have webinars occasionally, and they'll have kind of a community forum where you can ask questions as a host. What if my guest doesn't show up? What if they cancel a reservation? What if I need to charge a deposit or a cleaning fee? You know, they provide those answers to those hosts worldwide, and it's just a great resource and a great website.
You know, one always question comes to mind is you're bringing somebody into your home, okay, and obviously are they doing background checks on these people?
Yes, they are.
I think that's important, obviously.
It is. The safety feature has always been, you know, something that I've heard people express concerns about with Airbnb, and what I always tell my hosts and people who inquire is, you know, Airbnb has the ability to do background checks on the individuals, and you as a host can require that your potential guest provide, again, name, address, phone number, email, and photo ID. And so you're seeing firsthand who your guests are. Some of the features on the website allow the host to ask the guest, you know, what are you coming here for? Are you a work traveler? Are you a leisure traveler? Are you just passing through for a night? Do you want a full-on experience when you're here, or do you kind of just want to do your thing and you just need a room to sleep in? And so Airbnb has a insurance policy of $1 million, a secondary insurance that covers the hosts against, you know, any liabilities for damages and theft.
That was going to be my next question, and you answered that, because obviously you've got somebody staying in your home. If something would happen and they'd start a fire,
right.
Hopefully that'll never happen and that kind of stuff. You're protected through Airbnb in regards to insurance. Now, I'm sure your homeowner's insurance too kicks in, but see, you're running a business now.
Right.
You know, it's not like,
right.
Hey, Dave, you know, you're my friend, you know, I got an extra bedroom, you know, come over and stay. You're actually have an agreement with them.
Correct, yes. And I would recommend to any potential hosts to check in with your insurance company, check in with a tax advisor, and do the research. You know, I felt like it was important for me to meet with an accountant, to meet with my tax advisor, and then to garner an additional rider on my homeowner's insurance policy just to get that additional protection for myself.
So you have a separate company. It's not just yours.
Correct.
You have
Correct.
Your own company set
Correct.
up. As an LLC or?
No, you treat this just as a sole proprietorship. You don't necessarily have to register as a owner with the Secretary of State's office. Airbnb does all of the paperwork as far as issuing the W-2s for their guests.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. And the
I
music
hear
is
the
here
music.
already. Yes. So we'll talk a little. I have some questions too that I've been writing down, and I'm really curious, like what the amenities are that you see are the most popular for people. I'd like to get into, you personally greet them. Is that important to you over like maybe having an electronic key, those type of things? So we're going to talk about those in a little bit. So come on back, everybody.
Right now, 77.
The Red River Farm Network. Ag News is here on SuperTalk 1270.
We're back to the Tech Ranch. Stream this program now at supertalk1270.com. Here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And in studio, we have producer extraordinaire Jim Walsh, Rockin Dave Blair, and the queen of Airbnb in North Dakota, Jill Schwab. We've been really getting into the Airbnb discussion. And so, Jill, what do you think is the number one amenity that people stay with you for?
The number one amenity, I think Airbnb prides itself on 3 different concepts, and that, again, is company-wide, and that is to be entrepreneurial, to be creative, and to do more with less.
Okay.
And so the concept, I think most people, when I ask my guests, why do you choose Airbnb over a traditional hotel stay? And obviously the hominess factor, the hospitality piece. You get a live person rather than checking into a hotel and getting a desk clerk that may or may not know the things that are going on in the community that weekend. They feel like they get that personal experience. They get to know somebody on a different level, and that hominess, that comfort. The cleanliness is another thing that they have complimented me on is, we feel comfortable at your home. We feel like we have the freedom to come and go without the need to check in with you. I offer a keypad on my front door, and so guests get a different code. Every guest gets a different code option, and they can come and go at their leisure. So they feel like they're actually staying at their home because they're able to come and go.
Gotcha.
The price point is another big factor. They may get into a traditional room for $79 to $119 per night at a hotel, whereas Airbnb offerings in Bismarck anywhere from $39 to $100 per night. So the young 19-year-old that's traveling across country has a budget, and this fits well within their budget constraints.
Is Airbnb generally a little less than a traditional hotel?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Yeah.
So interesting.
We talked earlier about this has been so popular over in Europe, and they call them hostels?
Hostels.
Yep. And so we kind of brought that whole concept over here. We talked a little bit about whether you've ever stayed in a hostel or a Airbnb over there. So my question to you is that as you look at the competition, which is starting to be more and more, are you looking at other things that you can offer them to be inspired to going, oh, I'm staying at Jill's place?
Yes. I too, like I said, I think it's about being creative, and I'm always thinking up of new ideas of what can I do that's going to set my property apart from others in the area or even in the country. And it's about, reinventing maybe every 3 months, doing different types of snacks, doing different type of amenities. I just partnered with a massage therapist in the Mandan area here locally to provide on-site massages. And so individuals who want to come and have a relaxing experience, she will literally bring her massage table into their space, and they can book online with her and have a 1-hour massage experience without having to worry when they get here, do I wait a week to try to find somebody? Or am I going to be able to get an appointment within the time that I'm staying in this Airbnb? And so she also does backyard yoga. And so she's providing, like I said, an experience to where people can have a relaxing time when they come to your home.
So that will be a service you could offer.
Oh, you bet, man. I can,
yoga as well.
The king of yoga.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is, but so one question I have is, are you responsible for a meal in the morning, or are they just open to do whatever they want? And I'm going to get into why I'm asking that question.
Sure.
So.
Again, when you click your preferences on the website, you are able to choose or not the yes or no option of whether you provide a breakfast for your guests or whether or not you provide meals. In my case, I do provide a breakfast, but I also elaborate in my listing as to what I provide. You know, I might provide a Keurig center where I have coffee pods, and I have oatmeal, and I have granola bars, and I have cereal. And again, with the amenities that you choose with Airbnb, you can identify whether you have a microwave, a refrigerator, kitchen tools, the use of a stove and fridge, so that they are able to see ahead of time whether or not they're going to be able to use their meals in a fashion to where they're not going to have to necessarily go out if they don't want to grab lunch outdoors or, you know, downtown. They can just stay in the property and use the kitchen.
The reason I ask that is, and maybe the next segment we can talk about me opening up my house for an Airbnb, but a lot of times I can't be there in the morning.
Sure.
Okay, so, you know, it's just like, hey, help yourself. This is your house,
right?
Type of thing, right? And that's fine,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I will take my guests around. I show them the room that they'll be staying in. I kind of give them an overview of the property and say to them, you know, this is the breakfast offering that I have. You're welcome to use it. If you need any additional supplies, just come grab me upstairs, and I will definitely provide you with anything you need. If you need to use the kitchen, absolutely.
Yep.
You know, if you need to grab a glass out of the cupboard, help yourself.
Okay. And so you provide them with everything they need, obviously towels and all of that, but a lot of them probably have their own, you know, their own kits that they bring with them
Sure.
for that. But the key, I think, is what I'm picking up is, you know, just doing that little extra that will, you know, invite them to come back. Now, have you had anybody that has come back more than once?
I actually have two guests that are planning to stay with me when they get back through Bismarck. One is a work traveler and one is a leisure traveler moving to the West Coast. So they have both said that they're going to start looking at my listings and see available dates because they do want to return. And that's ultimately the goal. You know, you want to have those repeat customers. The more that you get to know them and develop that relationship and that trust with them, the easier it is to host them as well.
So I'm curious about, for you now, you've met people from all over the world because of this. I'm getting from you that you enjoy this.
I do.
So have you, you know, has this changed your life a little bit too, outside of the monetary gain that you're getting?
It has. It has. Like I said, I have met so many great people from across the country throughout this experience, and I love it. I'm passionate about the hospitality industry and what I can do to shape people's expectations and perspectives when they leave Bismarck. I mentioned earlier that I feel like I've probably got 70 to 75% of my guests that are first-time visitors to both Bismarck and to the state of North Dakota. And so it's pretty cool that I can provide them with that experience, whether they come in and say, you know, we don't know anything about North Dakota, or we have this perception that it's cold and flat and there's nothing to do here. And by the time that they leave, they were like, wow, it's really nice here. It's beautiful. The people are friendly. It's fun. Your downtown is vibrant and your community is awesome. And so they take that back to their home communities and spread the word for me and for the city of how great North Dakota is. And they, you know, they'll say, I will recommend your property to anybody that I talk to that wants to come to Bismarck or will be passing through. And so it feeds positivity.
You know, we become an ambassador. I think we all need to be more prevalent about that when we're meeting new people and
Exactly.
understanding that. And I think, you know, North Dakota has always had that reputation of really being North Dakota nice. Yes. And that, but to actually them to experience it and probably write some maybe interesting blogs or something on, you know, that experience that they have, you know, goes a long way.
Absolutely. And I think too, it's not only changing the perspective or enhancing the perspective that they may already have, but it's also building relationships. I just had a gal stay with me for a week from Portland, Oregon. She came back to North Dakota for a high school class reunion. And she has invited me. They're going to start their own Airbnb now in Portland after seeing what I have done with my property. They're taking some ideas and some best practices. And she said to me the other day when she left, she said, anytime you want to come and stay with me, you're welcome to stay at our Airbnb. I had a couple that stayed with me back in May that were here for 3 days in Bismarck, absolutely fell in love with Bismarck, and are going to be moving to the San Diego Bay area, and said, here's my personal email address. You're welcome to stay with us at our house anytime. Wow. And so you're developing friendships and relationships, so it's very cool.
The other thing that's interesting, I think, about Airbnb is, there's a lot of places that either don't have enough hotel rooms during certain times of the year or whatever, or maybe don't even have, you're in a rural town,
right,
and there's a reunion going on, there's, hunting season's upon us, right, there's a fishing tournament going on, whatever it is that brings some people to town. And there's always people that have probably space for people to stay, but they don't want to go through this hassle of collecting money and all this other stuff that goes along. Airbnb is a real nice fit for that, isn't it?
It is. It is. The concept, again, from the three entrepreneurs that started Airbnb is they wanted a very simple process, 3 clicks to book. And so it is. You find the property that you're looking for, you find the amenities, and you literally submit a reservation request. And from there, the host and the guest have the opportunity to chat through the website, ask any questions, develop departure and arrival times, and then kind of get a sense of, what are you looking for while you're here? What can I assist you with? What recommendations would you like? What amenities do you need while you're here to make your stay the most comfortable?
And if you're looking for an air mattress,
there's
probably one on there yet, right? Because that's how the
yes.
company got started, was because they were throwing out an air mattress. That's pretty cool.
I got a quick question. Have you ever felt threatened at all with any of your guests?
I have not. I have been very fortunate and very at ease with the guests that I've had. There's always a little bit of sense of heightened awareness, but again, I have mentioned to several people that it's a trust factor. They're taking as big of a risk coming into a stranger's home as I am taking them in. And I think Airbnb has those mechanisms in place to, kind of safeguard both the host and the guest that's coming.
That's going to lead me into the next question.
Well,
in our
actually,
next segment.
The next segment's going to be about how Jill's going to get your house set up.
I know.
So that's what we're going to do. So come on
it could
back,
be a
everybody.
challenge.
Right now, 80.
News headlines and weather together. Live on SuperTalk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek everywhere he goes. Post your comments or questions at thetechranch.com. Once again, your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we're all giving Jim a bad time here. He's missing one bowl on his glasses. Yeah. He needs some duct tape and a pocket protector, and maybe a little tape there on the middle there, Jim. That would I'm swinging the microphone over to you there.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just call me Booger.
My goodness. Thanks for that, Jim.
Yeah.
So you'd actually fit that role pretty well.
Yeah, I think you could do that.
Oh, and now we broke the mic on that side, so you're doing okay, Jim?
So, Jill, I wanted to have a follow-up question. So, let's say you get a character like Dave Blair that comes, and he's just like very rude and obnoxious, and you're saying, I don't want this guy in my Airbnb. What do you do?
So I think, too, I kind of provide that communication piece up front to say, would you like to, are you very self-sufficient? Would you like to do your own thing? Would you prefer that I host you? Would you prefer to sit down at the kitchen table and have a conversation? So I think you can address whether or not the person wants that level of engagement ahead of time before they even arrive. And then you have a better sense, and they have a better sense, too, of what to expect. Versus just coming in and meeting a complete stranger and not knowing anything about them. That's the beauty of having the chat piece on the website itself, is I may have 2 or 3 conversations before my guests even arrive, and kind of get a sense of, are you looking for restaurants? Are you looking for amenities? Are you looking to be hosted? Or do you kind of just want to do your own thing? If I have a couple in town for a family wedding, I just kind of say they're here to do their own thing. They're here to enjoy family time.
Sure.
They don't need to be hosted per se. They have their experience that they're going to participate in and enjoy over the weekend. So you kind of have to gauge. Each person is different. It's not a one size fits all when you come into hosting or have guests, because every individual is different. Every person has different preferences when they stay at a place. It's interesting when I chat with my guests before they come to the home. And for some people who come from a big city such as Brooklyn, parking is huge for them. They want to know, that's, all I care about is, do you have off-street parking? Is it paid parking? The next person doesn't care anything about parking. They want to know, where's the hot spot, what's to do in the city, where's their entertainment, is there a live band?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very contoured type of industry to where you have to really gauge what is important to your guests.
Do you, in your criteria, do you allow dogs in your home?
I don't allow pets in my home, but that is an option. There are, again, different options on the Airbnb website for children, toddlers, cribs. Do you allow, guests to come over and have a drink on the patio in the evenings, those types of things. So you can limit your parameters. You can make them as broad as you would like. And that is up to each individual host to determine, what they would like to have in their home.
So in my particular case, and we're going to talk about my house and whether we can get it set up for Airbnb, is I have a dog.
Sure.
So obviously you need to let the people know that we have this dog. It's a killer dog, we have to muzzle it. Oh, no, it's really not. But she's just a cute little thing.
Sure.
So obviously I don't mind if people had an animal they could bring over. If it's a cat, they'll never find their cat again. But teasing. But making sure they're aware of some of those situations in your home.
Yes, definitely. It's very important to have those expectations in place. I cannot empathize with a guest. I wouldn't want a surprise when I go and I have a 3-day stay or a week-long stay. I want to know, what am I investing in? How am I spending my time? How am I spending my money? And I want to be able to, I know of a gentleman in Bismarck that has a cat, and that's a big draw for him because guests love his friendly cat. He's a social cat. He sits on their lap on the couch, and so for animal lovers, it's a great perk for him, and to me, that's considered an amenity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to set up my home for an Airbnb. Mm-hmm. What are my steps? What do I need to do?
The first piece is, again, I think to research, make sure that you have a house that is going to be conducive to hosting guests. The noise level, are you in a landlord situation where they won't allow subletting in an apartment? Are your neighbors, going to be on board with this concept? Do you have barking dogs in the neighborhood? All of those factors play into...
I got barking neighbors, but...
All of those factors need to be taken into consideration.
That could be an amenity day.
Yeah. Exactly.
As to whether or not you can provide a quality experience.
Sure.
And location is another huge factor when you're looking at starting up a company and providing that home experience. Are you located downtown? Are you 5 miles out? And again, it depends on the traveler. Some people want that more isolated, quiet country experience. Some people want to be in the heart of downtown. So location is a huge factor. Getting registered, go to Airbnb.com, sign up, get your listing set up, take the photos, identify what amenities you have, get your pricing in place, and from there you can start taking the bookings.
So one of the elements that I wanted to understand was in the wintertime, you started in March, but what are you anticipating in the wintertime in North Dakota? I'm sure the travel's going to go down, so you're not going to have as many requests, but providing them still opportunities, say, like, hey, you can help me shovel out my driveway, so get a good workout in.
Sure. I think the biggest piece, and again, Airbnb is very good about saying, in fact, they just sent me a message the other day, September's coming up, bookings are expected to maybe go down a little bit because of summer travels are going to be less. Kids are going back to school. And so, again, they recommend, you might want to change your pricing. You might want to bump up the way that you market to work travelers, because I don't necessarily know that work travelers are going to change too much over the winter months. We may still see that type of traveler coming through. Holiday travelers are great for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and so you've got a little bit of a spike there. I think for me, the next piece that I'm going to tap into is maybe talking about doing some, and Airbnb is actually in the process of doing this. Again, too, they are always reinventing, and the next piece that they're going to add to their website is the experiences link, to where, and I can see Fargo coming first for North Dakota as one of the cities that will start using this as a marketing tool. Is experiences may be anything from art walks, brewery tours, social impact experiences, to music lessons, cooking classes, you know, just taking in an actual experience. And so as a host, you can sign up to provide that experience.
Sporting events,
Sporting
what's going
events,
on.
concerts, photo shoots, sunset watching tours. So there's just a lot of different options. And as I'm looking at properties across the world and different cities, is they're already doing the experiences piece, and they're having a lot of success with it, because people do want to be able to provide, you know, you want to provide them with an experience, and they want to come and have a really quality stay when they're coming to your city.
You're starting to offer some of that stuff already yourself, right?
Yes. Again, like I said, with the massages, with the yoga piece of it, I'm thinking about doing a downtown brews and boutiques tour with all the new breweries that have opened up in the Bismarck, Mandan area. The fun part is I get to go down and check them out myself and see if it's a worthy place that I want to market, and maybe do a 6 or 7 brewery tour to make it a packaged all-day deal.
So is this a value add for you then? Is this something that you charge in addition to the stay?
I would probably charge a fee for the transportation piece if they were to rent an Uber or a Lyft, you know, or for my time to host them. I mean, again, and just in the data analysis and identifying where I could take them that would provide that ultimate experience. And so I'm talking to the business owners in Mandan of the breweries, and visiting the ones in Bismarck that have recently opened. In fact, I think Stonehome Brewing opens today. And so I've gone to the rooftop and just kind of gotten the breathtaking views and said, yeah, this would be a great place for me to take my guests and showcase, you know, that experience that they may not get otherwise if they had just come in as a traveler staying at a hotel.
How much time is this taking you away? Because you have a regular job, correct? So how much time is this taking away from your regular job?
I would say as much as I have really tried to promote this and make this a good quality stay experience, I probably take about 20 hours a week to...
Okay.
Awesome. Jill, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's been very, very good. So, and Dave, I guess you may have another economic opportunity, you know, in the future that you can pursue.
You know, I need to fill up my plate some more.
Yeah, you don't have enough going on already. So, Jim, pleasure as always.
Likewise.
Have a great week, everybody.
Yep.